Dear students, today I am going to tell about PPDT story writing. There are a lot of people who unfortunately get screened out. It is a very sad state because you feel you went to the doorstep of the temple and you could not get inside. Very sad. Many of you get screened out. And why does this happen? There are many elements of screening. Number one is OIR, but when you do OIR, you really do it well. So most of the people, even if you're scoring 70% plus in OIR, that is reasoning test, you have a full chance to get screened in. But if you do more, wonderful. But with practice, I know many of you do excellently well in OIR test and you are able to score well. But then in the subsequent process, you generally fail. And it is very sad because you, particularly CDS candidate, NDA candidate, or any candidate who has given a complete exam, has wasted 6 months plus, gets screened out. That means another 6 months more. And this way you miss one session and you land up in a junior course. So here we are going to explain this. There are a lot of pundits coming up lately with all the kind of commercialization. Tamil Tir Academy has had a very, very rich history of 30 years plus. Now, I cannot compete with the youngsters who are coming up every day, coming up with all those jargons. But I want clarity to you. I want to make you understand that the brilliant person is inside you. I am not here to teach you something. I am here to awaken your soul, awaken your intelligence, and you will understand it properly. There is one thing very important when you take your personality outside your home or in your day-to-day life. You cannot go with a personality which has got all the kind of tantrums. Please pay attention. I want that. If you will take a lot of tantrums, people are not ready to accept it. Suppose I only, during the class, only start scolding. No, get up. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Then automatically what will happen? Many of you may not like it. Similarly, when you go down to any kind of activity, any kind of thing, and have high attitudes, you have arrogance in your face, or you have anger in your face, or you are looking too sweet, as if you are pretending, all these kind of behaviors are unacceptable. You have to be balanced. Yes, you have to be cheerful. And I say cheerful means the face which I am giving you right now, the cheerfulness, the activity, the energy level, you have to keep that in mind. And keep all tantrums away. And that is the way you get screened. But now there is a very big problem. While writing story, we have a lot of issues. We do not know what I should write, what I should not write. And it is not the quality inside you which is the problem, which rejects you or selects you. It is the expression which you lack that affects you. I want your attention. I know you may be thinking it's a long class. I don't want anyone to take this class if they want to see it only in small portion. I know many of you want 10 minutes videos. What are you doing? Are you in a hurry with your life, with your career? You can't give 40 minutes to understand a complete process so that you are able to digest. Do you eat food only its few chips? Or do you want to really eat properly a complete staple diet which is good for your nutrition? You decide. And if you want short videos, please leave the video right now. But if you want to listen to this completely, you will understand the whole picture. And I want you to listen to that. Not for the sake that I am here to do blah, 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 blah. No, I am not interested. But if all people here and the people watching do not want to see the complete process, you would have all the confusions. Please improve your concentration. Many of you have poor concentration. After 5 minutes, your mind wavers. Why? Life requires your focus. Your ability will multiply if you have focus. We just pay attention. I hope it is not sounding like a lecture and we can go ahead with the class. All ready? So here we begin. We are going to talk about PPT story writing in a fully explained manner so that you understand everything properly. I will give you examples. I'll make you understand how it is done. And in the second part, we will talk about narration. And in the third part, we will talk about group discussion and its modus operandi. I know many of you cannot come to me, or when you want to come to me, I get so much overburdened to think for everyone that it becomes tiring. Yet, if I can transparently come down to you at your doorstep, I think you will be able to see this video again and again and understand it completely. Please do that. Best of luck to you and best of luck to me that I am able to explain this to you. Let's start. The process, what is the process of? It's a very simple thing. I'm trying to be very clear because small mistakes in the process also becomes a source of your rejection. The first process is seating. You are supposed to sit down like this. They make you sit down. Now what happens once many candidates, now I'm talking out of my 30 years of experience. I found that many a times candidates, because they have a chair, they sometimes shift in the front. Imagine that the second last person shifts the chair in the front, the last person will be left behind. Now automatically, because of the positioning of the chair, you will not be able to participate effectively, yes or no. Now that is sad. So you have to adapt yourself as per the situation. In case the candidate does it, just slightly get your chair also so that you can participate with the whole group. Second, many of you are learning that typical style of sitting like this. Why? I don't understand. Why do you want to be so unnatural? Yes, tomorrow when you become an army officer, you would be adopting certain conduct. But are you an officer right now? No. But that also does not mean that you will sit like this casually as if you are sleeping on the cinema chair. No. You will be attentive but with interest. One more thing which is to be understood in the sitting is that don't sit back in the chair. Be little in the front portion of the chair so that you can participate. Now sitting back gives you a lethargic look. The evaluators may often read you wrongly that you are being lazy, you are not participating. But if you are in the front, you see there are many people who drive the car. Some of them are sitting quite close to the wheel. And some people sit totally in the back of the wheel. I agree. Some of them may be comfortable that way. But tell me very frankly, observe it also. You will find the person sitting closer to the wheel with the little active thing because he is now having accelerators and brakes more in control. His reflexes are better generally than the person sitting in the back. So please understand, this psychology is not something which is a great science which is going to disturb you, and every Tom, Dick and Harry is becoming a pundit to explain you. Please don't do that. Try to wake up your common sense, logic, and you will be the champion in your own self. I have already given so many years, I know, for a few more years, and I would love to share all my knowledge with you because that is how you can benefit. And of course, it will benefit you for a lifetime. We feel very happy to feel that we have a family, but that family is what? It is you, your genius is there. I'm not doing anything big. I'm just waking you up. And if you wake up, you're going to do well. So have you understood about this sitting position? Your sitting position should not be laid back. Number one. Number two, it should not get subdued because of somebody else. You cannot keep complaining. Learn to manage there. Right? And don't have to do it prominently bad with the others, but just move it up. Or in timely request him that let's sit so that we all can see each one of the candidate. See, look at the sitting position. They make you see each one of the candidate. Small thing, but matters a lot. Once a candidate came down, sir, my front one came forward and I could not speak and I was screened out and I could. No, I said, God is not coming there. You are the God yourself. Find your solutions. Is it clear? Yes or no? So, small point. Now, there is an officer's address, very important. Officers have drafted instructions. They don't have whatever they feel like speaking. They draft their instructions. They have to file what instructions they gave. Is it clear? I mean, generally, they cover all those points which are written in that drafted instructions. So, if you don't pay attention to the officer's address, I think you are not serious about your job. That is how they think. So, when an officer is saying something, you have to listen carefully. Many a time, officers may change their instructions. You have learned from some coaching, some place or the other, certain instruction, and you have mugged them up that I'm going to do this. But actually what happened, on the spot, the officer gave you a different address. He didn't ask you to write the gender of the character, or he didn't ask you to write the mood of the character, or he didn't ask you anything. And you, by the normal procedure that you've learned, you're writing it. Now, doesn't the officer see that you are not listening on the point? You are working with the prejudice system, proactive system. You are not doing something which has been told at the point. So you are ready to learn, fine. But at that point, don't miss the address. You know what? Armed Forces is all about listening instructions carefully, understanding them totally and applying them totally, because it's a beautiful organization which has been created hierarchically perfectly. What the senior says, he thinks very clearly what should be the instructions. Thereafter, it is relayed properly. So, any officer who is not able to relay the instruction, or any officer who does not understand the instructions, will disturb the system. Yes or no? Will disturb the system. So, we don't want such thing. We want you to listen to the address very nicely. Is it clear? Please have patience and understand every point, because my effort is to come to your doorstep, wake you up, make you understand all these jargons and pundits coming up with all the different theories, and all the things are just giving you small points, and you are putting your common sense, logic behind. And that is what we are evaluating. We are not evaluating, they are not evaluating me. That how is Lamerte teaching you? No, they are not interested in that. They are interested in your performance. They are interested how commonsensical and logical you will learn. Psychology is a science of observation. It is a science of alert application. It is a science of your behavior. And if you have simple common sense and logic alert in your mind, trust me, your confidence will be high and you will perform well. Why do you think that you have to go to a psychologist to identify some things? Because you think you are not on the right path? No, I will help you express. I'll give you the guidelines of expression. But you have to sit with yourself and understand. You are not a psychological cases here. And even if you are feeling that yes, you are psychologically disturbed, you got to solve it by your own self. And you can do that. You just have to do one thing. You have to identify, okay, this is not very fair on me, so I have to change this habit of mine. You will do it. Is it clear? Nobody is born with a perfect psychology. Nobody, including me, including others, including everyone. Everyone has a dynamic psychology, effective psychology, consistency in psychology. That is what matters. Is it clear? So remember, I know many of you will think, sir is saying so long lesson. I am not able to listen too long. Then I'm sorry, leave. But if you want to listen to everything carefully, you should. So officer's address matter. Right? Officer's address, what does he want to tell you? He is being very specifically clear. Listen and try to keep your attention good. If you have attention problem, many of you will advise that you sometimes sit alone and try to see something and take a piece of paper and note what all did you see after closing that. Recheck, and slowly and gradually your attention and concentration will increase. But if you will not cure this timely now, you will suffer in your studies, in your growth, in career. So please do that. Is it clear? So officer's address is very important. Listen to what is he saying and try to adhere to it maximum. You don't have to be forcing others. You mind your own business. If the officer has said something, this, you say, as when you are giving your narration, you can start that as officers, as I saw in the picture, this, I saw this, and this. Try to follow what he had said. So officer will see that you have keenly observed. Maybe one has ignored. So what? You do your job. You should mind your job. Yes or no? You don't have to tell you, what are you doing? You not listen to him. Don't tell you. Right? You do your job. Is it clear? Any doubts? Because this will be also given even before the story writing and even before the group discussion will begin. Is it clear? Understood, not understood? Before the group discussion will begin. Then also they will say, before the story writing begins or the procedure of showing you story will begin, they will talk to you. So listen to them. Next what you have is you will be shown a picture and you will be told to mark the picture. Now look at this. How many characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters, right? A picture is shown. Now they have said tell number of characters seen, so you will be told to mark it. I will explain everything in detail. Then they will tell the genders. Be very clear. You don't have to transform gender just because you are a male, you will see everybody male. If you are female, you will see everybody female. No. Whatever you see, right. Don't become so gender sensitive. Many of us, because of Indian mixed social standards, we tend to be gender aversive. Do you understand what you mean by gender aversive? We feel girls, no. Boys, no. Don't do that. Remember, later, when you will work in the forces, you will be working shoulder to shoulder with each other. So you should have a very nice adjustment with them, nice respect for them, and you should concentrate on your job. Rather than taking them as a gender, you should take them as individuals. Is it clear? Any doubts? So this is something. So they will ask you how many genders you saw. Their mood. Now there is a mood. Now you think that accident has happened, so everybody's mood is bad. I don't think. Situations come, situations go. But one should not have such extreme bad mood that now my mood is bad. Are you a moody person? If you are not moody, you will think balanced. And if you are moody, you will be unbalanced. Yes, if you see somebody crying, then you can take his mood as negative. Understood. But when you are seeing someone in a situation, that mood can be neutral, that can be positive, because you are thinking that the problem can be solved. Am I right? But it also does not mean that you will write everyone in positive. Am I right? Yes or no? Yes, your central character. Pay attention. Please pay attention. I told you, you take this class again and again, read this video again and again, and you will have all doubts clear. I will also give it in Hindi so that everybody who's Hindi medium will also catch it. But you have to understand this very clearly. So what happens? You find somebody's mood. Now whoever is going to be the central character, do you think he will have negative mood, neutral mood or positive mood? He will always have positive mood because you are going to make him the hero of the story. Hero means the person who will solve or person who will come forward and do something about it. So person who really wants to resolve, solve, act will always be positive. Is it clear to all of you? Yes or no? So you have to remember that. Is it clear? That is something which is very natural. Everybody understands. There are things happening in day-to-day life, but somebody who's positive moves on. but somebody who's negative does not. Is it clear? Again, please maintain your attention, because I'm not doing it for the sake of doing it. I'm trying to give you a full staple diet. You will understand everything properly. If you have doubts after that, you can post it. You can ask me here in the class as well, and we will resolve. Their mood, is it clear now? The mood is clear. So if you see in this, there are people here, you'll find that some of them are having neutral. But one of you, whomever you are taking as a positive person, who's thinking of resolving, repairing, or taking the help, will automatically be having a positive mood, and he'll get into action to solve this problem. Am I right? Yes or no? So you can do that. Then their age, mostly you can see they are mostly teenagers or someone in the range of 18 to 24. Am I right? They look like that. It's perfectly okay. Any doubts? Now we come down to central character hero. Whomever out of this you want to make as the central character and get into action, you can do that. We will show you this. I'll illustrate everything so that after this, you don't have to run around pundits, you just have to practice. Practice your common sense to confidence. Let's go further. Now, after this, you are supposed to write a story. And in this writing of the story, you also have to write in this, as I have told you, you also have to write an action or the title. What is it? You have to write that. Is it clear in that? So you will have to write a story. What will you show as the action last time? An accident of a car. Because that is the situation. And then you will write a story that this happened, so this person did this, they all did this, and mutually they solved this, right? Something which is natural. Now, many of you think that I have to write ultra stories. Or there are many people who tend to copy stories of somewhere and write it here. Please don't do that. Have confidence in your psychology. If you get some ideas, nothing wrong. You can go ahead with it. But you should evolve it to your format. Make changes in those things which you find could have been better. Don't copy things. Utilize your intelligence to evolve it to a better form. Is it clear? That is something which I want to. So write a good story. That is what they are expecting in the process. Then they give you an interval. Now this is a very important interval. Now people say, why are you talking about it? In between stories, they give you an interval. Now here, I want to share an experience. There are some people who discuss their story. I wrote this, I wrote that. And sometimes somewhere, if your story is good, you find somebody else copies that idea and goes in the narration and tells that story. Though must have written something else, but has written that story. Now what happens? Now you are going to narrate the same story. The other person has already narrated the same story. And according to the psychological principles, two people cannot have the same story until and unless they have cheated or studied in the same school or cut, copy, paste from the same source. So my request is that while you discuss in the interval, you talk general, but do not relate your story to anyone. Not for the reason that it is wrong, but get an idea. Okay, what did you say? Accident. Okay. And what did you say? Okay, you wrote a story on this. Now don't tell everything in detail. Maybe every type of people are there in the group. I'm not saying that it is wrong, right? It's generally to get an idea. And what is the benefit of this interval? It will get you an idea what can be a common story. Many a time I will teach you the process of how to come to common story also. Common story will give you an idea, okay, everybody is writing this, so what should I write about? You'll get an idea. We're going to discuss this in narration, we're going to discuss in the group discussion. Believe me, I am thinking this as one of those last salutes when I can give you all the details, and a lot of officers are coming in to help you at your city with the support of our channel, with the support of our workbooks, with the support of our system, and you can study there itself. And you don't have to go and unnecessarily tamper your personality with structured learning and then feeling not confident. So we are trying our best. Hope we are able to come up to the mark, but you have to pay attention. And if you guys run like this in few minutes you are away, then I think I can do nothing. Nobody can. Anyway, let's come back to this. In interval, discussion will help you. Very important. Even in this interval, many of you who have hesitation in narration can practice it mentally. And if you get an open ground, you can utilize it for your narration practice. So everything in the process has been drafted. If you are serious candidate, you will practice. Okay, I said this. Because many times what happens, people forget in narration what they had written. Very poor personalities, very poor memory, very poor intelligence. And this is unfortunate. Yes, narration does not have to be dot to dot every word, but it can be overall the same word. Plus, yes, there can be certain additions also in your narrations, which you want to add, no issues. There can be certain subtraction in your narration, though you have written something, but you want to just make some subtraction small, not major, small. You can do that. You want to improve your narration with a good draft, you can do it. This is the interval time when you get it. Is it clear? You've already written a story, so they will be evaluating the psychologist, maybe giving a glance and getting an idea of your thought process, fluidity of the thought process, and positivity and negativity of your approach. They'll be checking that. Is it clear? So remember, interval is important. Many have never talked about it, but it is important. Many have used it very rightly, and they should have. 30 years of experience of mentoring with more than 1250 plus officers has itself educated me. I was not a champion. I was always an observer, and till date I am learner. You are a different generation, but I am still learning from you guys and helping you guys. Our results are flowing. Last month, one more guy made up his system even after he had missed so many SSBs. We help repeaters more because repeaters are misdirected souls. We are able to help people who are unexperienced because they can understand, but experienced, we do better because now they have an evaluative mind. So if you have missed SSBs, you have knocked the doors of many places and you want a proper psychological counseling to understand where are you going wrong. Provided you are ready to correct yourself, because I can't correct you. You have to correct yourself. We'll help you identify, we'll give you solutions to do, but you have to do it. So getting the point, let's go further. After the interval, we come down to individual narration. This is a very important place. You know what is narration about? Narration is about seeing your speaking power. We will be discussing this in detail. We'll be setting up examples so that you guys can understand. Narration means how do you read out your stories. If you read out with crystal clarity, you get 1 minute to do that, but believe it to be somewhere around 40 to 60 seconds. You can narrate a good story which you have written in 3 minutes or 4 minutes. You can read it. Your tone of talking, your clarity of speech, your calmness in your face, the readout, the interest in seeing everyone around, not like a rotating fan, but naturally is going to make a huge difference because they will know that you have the communication power to be a good officer. Is it clear? So that is something which is very important. So remember, individual narration makes an impact. The officer there will be seeing your narration, will be also getting an idea of the picture which you have said, how beautifully you have narrated. Many of you have not been corrected by your parents or teachers or anyone, unfortunately. So many of you look very scared in your looks. Some of you look very too scared, or too glaring in your looks. Some people look very disturbed in their looks. Some people are very shy in their looks. Please correct yourself. Try to improve yourself. so that as an officer you can do justice to the job. And that can only happen if you practice narration a little bit among the group and relax yourself. You are not eating anyone's thing. It's your parents' blessing which you are enjoying. So why are you afraid of anyone? Maximum you will get rejected, but if you look scared, you will get rejected for sure. If you look, there are many people who have this cunning look, looking here and there, and then they come and tell me, I got screened out. Why did you get screened out? You were behaving funny. Why didn't you mind your own business? Look confident, look with people, look with calmness, talk and read out clearly. I made many candidates who were very weak, farmer's son, laborer's son, who did not know to speak English, but we made them narrate and made them do lecturate, and they not only cleared their screening, but they got recommended and today are officers. I did not do the magic, they did the magic. They followed the mantras which really mattered. And those mantras were not orthodox, they were natural. So remember this. Now we come down to group discussion. Now this is a very important thing. In this group discussion, they see your we approach. What did I say? We, W-E, we approach. They do not see your me approach. If in group you want to have a me approach, the Adolf Hitler time is gone. And unfortunately, Nazi went away and many of the generals who followed Adolf Hitler became victim to revenge, which was unfortunate. Both was unfortunate. Carrying it too much was unfortunate. The reaction was unfortunate. Everything was. You have to have a little understanding thing, because you know what happens? Suppose you are a leader leading from the front with all the ferocity. The other people are not liking it. They will stab you from the back. Similarly, in the group discussion, if you do not know how to speak effectively, we will talk about that in narration, group discussion, everything. But if you don't know how to speak effectively and you try to speak loudly, shout and try to subdue others, sorry, there is a possibility you will get screened out, though you are a good speaker. So learn to speak. There are many times when you are speaking, others are saying, keep shut, and you become shut with a fear in your face. Don't do that. You can cooperate with them, but don't get scared. We will discuss all this in detail in the second part. So keep watching, keep learning, and keep evolving. Your future awaits you. Do well. Is it clear? The group discussion has certain methodology. This is part of the process. Now we go further. Then comes one more thing, that is group conclusion. Sometimes people are told that, okay, now if the group discussion has gone healthy, the officer says, one of you please stand up and give the conclusion of which is the common story. So at that point of time, you don't have to sing your flute. You don't have to sing your music. You have to sing or observe what was discussed and give a summary which matches with the discussion, if you are giving the conclusion. And if somebody else is giving the conclusion, see how wonderfully he has given. In case they ask for additions and he has missed a major chunk, then you may stand up confidently without insulting the person, tell what all additions you want. So this way, these are the things which they give you for the process, and in the process they identify your confidence, they identify your communication ability, they identify your cooperative ability, they identify your tact approach, they identify your general personality in a short form, and they screened you in. Many of you who are very poor in communications get screened out, though they have worked very hard to clear the written exam. So dear friends, dear students, friends because that's how everybody is on earth, but students because you are ready to learn, so I am ready to teach. So you understand this, everything properly. Should we go further please? Okay, here we go. Now that was the process. And last, what happens? Officer tells the result. Okay, so and so screened in. You go there, so and so not screened in. Is it clear? And then you go with a sad face, but the reason is the process is complete here. Now, we will now go behind the curtains of the stage. What is behind? How it is evaluated? What is the purpose really looking at? Are you ready with it? Not tired, I guess? Everyone? Okay, let's go further. This is a picture displayed for story writing, which is generally given in a PPT. They'll give you a picture, not this same, different ones, but it is an example. It is an example where a girl, a man, and other two men and woman are standing and watching. Example is picture is shown to you. Is it clear? So what are you supposed to do? They will tell you that see it clearly, so you should be able to observe clearly. You should identify in your mental memory rightly. Don't forget, okay, was it a girl or a boy? Was it no. Don't do that. Be very specifically clear. How many people did you see? 5. So mark it. Where did you see? This. Is it clear? Yes or no? So that the next paper which comes is where you have to write your name, your chest number. Chest number is what you wear. And then you have roll number, which generally happens with the UPSC and other ones, or the ones which are allotted. And you are also told the batch number. On the day of form filling, you are given the batch number also. You are told also. So write that down. And then they tell you in this box to mark. How many people did you see? 5. You saw 2 of them in the center. ... You have to mark. What all? We have already talked. Their gender, their age, their mood, everything you have to mark. We will explain you again in a complete examples. Don't worry. But right now, listen to it, what I am trying to tell you. So, you will mark this, and you will be able to. Then 3 people you saw, so you have marked. One of them was female, there were 2 males, so you have marked everything. And one of them you must have made the central character. I'm sure the girls would have seen the girls, the girls would have seen the girls here, and the boys would have seen the boy here, right? Okay. And could have taken the central character and in the story. Why do we write stories with our own gender? Very simple. We will be able to reflect better. We will be able to write with our socio-cultural conditions and write properly. Is it clear? Any doubts? Clear or not clear? So that is some. I have said one thing, story advice, keep your story length 80 to 120 words, because in less than 80 words you may not be able to express a complete thought process. And if you write more than 120 or 130, they will feel it will become a lengthy story and will be read as preconceived and not original. Generally, if somebody has read something and wants to write blah blah blah, they will write more. Generally, if a person is thinking and writing and he is having only 3 to 4 minutes, he will write between the range of 80 to 120 words. Writing too short will show that you cannot think properly. And then this is just hints. No rule, but hints. So, somebody who is writing somewhere between 80 to 120 will be more comfortable and can be analyzed better. And probably the psychologist will also understand that the person has expressed completely. Is it clear?